Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello, all of you out there in Nigeria and in the diaspora. You're welcome to another edition of Money Radio. This is the tech segment of Money Radio. You're welcome. I'm your host, Case Hammond, and I have in the studio with me Haniel Jafaru. He's a regular guest, and as you may be aware, he's knowledgeable enough to give you the real meat of what we're about to discuss. Yes, today is an interesting topic we're discussing. Recently, the Central Bank of Nigeria announced that on October 1st, 2021, they are launching the new digital currency, the E-Naira. I am particularly proud of that name, E-Naira, because being a staff of national economy, that was suggested sometime in May 2020, that we have a digital currency, and we suggested that name, E-Naira. So I'm proud to be a part of national economy. So the E-Naira, we are discussing E-Naira today. We're going to discuss the benefits, and we're going to discuss if there are any costs. A whole number of issues. So you're welcome, Hania.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Let's start with educating our listeners. What is E-Naira? What is digital currency, and how can you differentiate that first from cryptocurrency?
Okay. Digital currency, in its name, it's internet money. Using the word as it is, digital currency, it's money, your money that is in the digital space. You get, unlike the regular Naira that we have we have them physically, but this time around, that E-Naira, as the name is, would be available digitally. So E-Naira is all about you having a replica of your regular Naira in the digital space. And that is completely different from cryptocurrency, because digital currency is not cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a type of currency, or is a type of digital currency that tends to work with blockchain technology.
All right.
It works with blockchain technology and also distributed ledger. Now, what that means is that a blockchain technology is a technology that encrypts every transaction and attach it to a chain of blocks. So every transaction that is being done, it encrypts it using its own level of algorithm, and it's usually difficult and very, very difficult for you to be able to decrypt or break that chain because of the algorithm and the encryption algorithm that was used to design this cryptocurrency. Every cryptocurrency cryptocurrency provider has their own. They have their own algorithm that they decided to use, and they have their own algorithm engine or encryption engine that they decided to use. But that's completely different from the E-Naira, and it's completely different from a digital currency that the E-Naira will be running on.
So I have an interest. The CBN banned it. They banned people. They instructed banks to ban transaction based on cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
Did that have anything to do with safety? Let's be short on this one.
Well, it's really. I am not in CBN. I really don't know. But generally, I would say that they did it based on what they said. They said they did it for security reasons.
Okay. Now they are introducing E-Naira,
mm-hmm.
and that is a digital currency.
Yeah.
First of all, with my bank account,
mm-hmm.
I have a bank account, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I have an amount in the bank, and if I want to pay you, I can do transfer.
Yeah.
If I want to buy something, I can send to maybe one of the
merchants.
Yeah, the merchants.
Yeah.
And they will simply, in fact, I order, pay them, and they bring my goods.
Yes.
So how is that different from the E-Naira?
Well, the way it is in the design.
Or let's put it this way: what is the benefit above that kind of transaction?
Okay, now for the E-Naira is going to be the interface in the outside. It's going to be in more of like an international interface. Now, no matter how you want to look at the Naira that you have and the Naira that is in your bank account that you use in transacting, there is usually a challenge in exchange. Especially when it comes to you having to do transaction in and within between Nigerian Naira, for example, and US dollars. There's usually a challenge because there are some persons and some cases where they will tell you that, okay, this is the amount I am charging. Some merchants will say this is the amount I am charging, especially when you're doing it with with a foreign currency.
Exactly.
There is a major challenge there, and I think the essence of this E-Naira is to solve that challenge, because now there's going to be a unique point. There's going to be a Naira that is in the digital space that has its own value. The Naira is going to have its own value, and the exchange rate is there. There'll be nothing like black E-Naira, black market E-Naira, and the regular E-Naira, as the case may be.
Yeah.
So this particular E-Naira is going to serve as the exchange route majorly for foreign currencies, because all foreign currencies that would want to be coming in, they will be channeled through the E-Naira. It's not as though that the people will now start bringing bags. So they're trying to. I think what CBN is trying to do is to look for a way to go cashless, and this is one of the way or strategy that they are going cashless. If it's just Nigeria alone, if it's just about us, we have grown to the extent that we can do transactions without the E-Naira. But looking at the possibility of you now bringing in cryptocurrency into Nigeria, bringing in banks, bringing in foreign currency that will now have bury the change, and I think that was the reason why bury the change problem as it is now, where they stop giving BDC forex. It's all aligned towards the establishment and the launching of the E-Naira.
Okay, so basically we are saying there may be less need for negotiating with a bureau of exchange person out there as to the exchange rate.
I believe strongly that that's where we're driving to.
That's great. The CBN said they also one of the benefits of that is of the E-Naira, the digital currency, is that it will ease foreign transaction. Now you're making a point there. I'm getting it. That's good. So let's talk about security. You mentioned earlier that for crypto, they have tight security based on their
the design architecture and the likes.
Algorithm. Now let's get to the digital currency. That
is my major fear, actually.
Why do you fear?
I fear for the architecture that we're using.
Is that going to be on the database?
Yes, that is it actually. It's going to be run on a database, and the database will be hosted in the cloud, and it will be run by an organization called the CBN. They will be managing it. They are the more of like the manager. They will be running the data center and everything. And as long as this thing is in the cloud, it means it's connected.
It's hackable.
Then that is the challenge.
Do you believe it's hackable?
Yes, as long as it's in the cloud, it has that tendency of being.
Do you know of any other country that is having or that has introduced digital currency?
Yes, most countries, about 80 countries are already looking at the possibility of the. In fact, the name for it is Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC, CBDC.
Yes.
So about 80 countries in the world are doing. Some are doing research. Some have gone advanced in their research. Some have implemented the pilots. Like the company that is doing ours for us. The Beats INC, that's Beats Inc., that's the company that is doing ours for us. I think they've implemented it for a country in North America, but not US, not Canada.
North America includes the US and Canada,
Mexico. I've forgotten the name of the country. Most of this, among these 80 countries, some are in advanced states, some are in pilots. You get, like, looking at it from Africa, Kenya has not launched, but they would soon launch. South Africa has not launched, they would soon launch. Nigeria will be launching in October. Some have not even fixed dates. Nigeria tends to be among the 4 countries that have fixed dates for their launching.
That's great.
Yeah, good one for us.
Yeah, that's a gift. Sort of. That would be the 61st
Independence Day. I think that's it.
I'm just wondering if this thing is going to take, for example, somebody is living in, say, the US or the UK, and is having this amount in his account in one of those countries.
Yeah.
And he comes here. Is there a way through his bank, be it there or here, is there a way that you can easily just convert to Naira? Maybe he comes for vacation or he's traveling out. Is there a way to just easily convert?
That is the whole essence of E-Naira. The E-Naira makes exchange rates. It makes it easier for us to exchange our currencies to the currency that we want in cash. Even though if you have the currency in the E-form, you can still carry out transaction within the country or whatsoever place that enables you or allows you to carry out that transaction. So you are in the US, for example, and you are coming to Nigeria, and you have US dollars in your US bank account.
Yeah.
So it's easier for you to just go online, look for exchange trading platform, and your money in your bank account in the US can easily be converted to E-Naira without you coming physically with dollars to Nigeria. So now, once the money comes to your E-Naira account, it's easier for you to now get cash, because from the E-Naira it goes to your bank account. From the bank account you withdraw cash.
So at the rate of, say, 400 Naira, and I intend to say...
No, I think there's going to be an exchange rate between the regular Naira and the E-Naira.
Please educate us.
I think I am not with CBN, as I earlier mentioned, but I think there's going to be an exchange rate, because it's not going to be the value of Naira as it is now.
That is the physical Naira.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the same value of E-Naira. There's going to be an exchange rate that they will have a way of carrying out that exchange in such a way that the same value that you have in your Naira, if you're converting it to E-Naira, you don't lose and you don't gain.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not as though that once you have E-Naira and you want to change it to Naira, you're going to lose your money, or you lose certain amount, or if you have certain amount in your Naira and you're converting it to E-Naira, you're losing certain amount. I think they will have a way of all these things will be revealed in coming weeks. We begin to see all these things because they are in the state of awareness now. So they're trying to create awareness about the launching, what it entails, what it's going to bring, and all that.
Talking about awareness, the CBN has already started issuing guidelines to banks. Just recently they did, a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
They started issuing guidelines. That means they are serious. Now, how prepared are Nigerians, the common Nigerian out there, to imbibe this new normal, so to speak?
Well, as we started, you started with an instance where you can just sit here and you carry out your transaction and all that.
Yeah.
Now, truly, by the time if you want to take that statistics, you will find out that most Nigerians hardly go to bank again. And the reason is because they can easily carry out their transaction from their phone. Yes. So that's to tell you that if we have accepted this as a means of we carrying out regular transactions,
yes.
So it means accepting E-Naira is not going to be an issue, but just a thing of us having to understand how it works, how it operates, how it will help us, and just going all in for it.
Thank you, Mr. Jafar. Let's go for a short break. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll come back shortly to talk more about the benefits of the introduction of digital currency, E-Naira. Please stay with us. back, listeners. Welcome back, Mr. Jafaru.
Thank you.
Yeah. Earlier, you mentioned something about your fear about that could be just a simple misconfiguration or something that will just make that database of the CBN
Hackable and
yeah,
vulnerable.
yes, that could expose Nigerians or whoever owns a bank account to cyber criminals. And there are criminals out there, hard knock criminals.
Mhm.
They are out there. What do you think? Tell us about it.
It's a major challenge. The design architecture that we're using is that CBN is going to own the database. It's going to run the data center. They're going to manage the data center. They are going to be the custodian of all the data. So all data that you're using, all the accounts, the E-Naira account that you have,
yeah,
it would be with CBN. However, you will only access it through commercial banks.
Okay.
That's the way. So it's more like an indirect administration, but direct infrastructure. So the infrastructure will be owned by CBN. It will be run and administered by CBN, which I think is the best, using because we don't want to. It's not as though that banks are not capable, but it's better. It's best we have the best hands to manage that. But notwithstanding, as long as it is in the cyberspace, there is every possibility for it to be hacked. There is every tendency for it to be vulnerable. The vulnerability can come out of misconfiguration unknowingly. It may not be deliberate. It can come from the possibility of insiders. You get, humans are the one doing these things. Humans have problems. People like the recent attacks that is going on in the world, the Logbit group.
Yeah.
You get, they make use of insiders. So they look for somebody that is inside an organization that is willing to sell the organization out, and they just tell the person what to do. The person does not need to be a hacker. The person does not need to know how to hack. The person just needs to know how to operate a system.
Follow their instruction.
Yes, and just follow the instruction. And at the end of the day, they impute RAM somewhere into the organization system. Then they ask the organization to pay millions and millions of dollars. And as the organization is paying, they are paying around between 10 to 30% to the guy that is like the insider. You get, so the person is not doing anything. So there is that possibility for, because it is humans will be involved, humans will be the one running it, humans will be the one in the name of affairs, where there is still that tendency. No matter how we can be technological sound, we can have all the infrastructures and the security in place, but the humans that are running it would not become the vulnerable point, because you are as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah, that's true. Now, usually when we're talking about when somebody is telling you are delivering news, say first the bad news. Now, what's the good news?
So before we even go to the good news, there is still a place of there's another thing I fear for.
Okay.
And that is the fact that one organization, CBN, is the one that controls the data. Why it is good, we've seen cases recently where the CBN mandates bank to shut down or block accounts of users.
Yes.
You get, so now if the CBN is now the one in control of this data and the accounts, so what tendency what will stop them at this point to not block people's account directly, because the data is with them? Outside we say Gahili Gadoki.
But is there any way CBN can monitor money laundering?
Yes, they can, because as the money is coming in, it has to pass through it. Except they are not implementing the ENaira policy to the fullest, because all foreign currencies and foreign exchange will have to pass through the ENaira. So if it must pass through the ENaira, then you follow the money. That's the strategy. So if you follow the money, it means that you know who owns the money.
That is one of the good news, though.
Well, yeah, we can look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Beyond the fact that CBN is beyond that fears of if they can convince Nigeria that they will truly go, if they will work with the rule of law that would make them not to block people's accounts. If they can convince Nigerians that the security, they will try as much as possible to ensure that there is security in the platform so that Nigerians don't lose money. Because at the end of the day, I think one of the security they will have to put in place is to ensure the money.
Yeah.
The E-Naira, it must be there. They must ensure that money because you can't rule out that publicity. You have to that's what's called risk transference. You have to transfer the risk to an insurance company so that when they fall victim of an attack, they will not bear the cost.
But it will be based on choice, right?
They will be the one to decide whether they want to insure. But I as an expert,
I'm not talking about the insurance issue. I'm talking about the having. Being on the E-Naira.
Yeah, I
will
think
it be a matter of choice?
Yes, I don't know, but it should be a thing of choice because you would not be mandated if you tend to be receiving money from the foreign currencies. So you will know it won't be a thing of choice for you if you're receiving money from foreign currency because before the money gets to your regular account, it must pass through the E-Naira.
I have this fear that over time, bank staff may lose their jobs.
Yes, and that is the last fear. It has a tendency of relegating commercial banks to the back. It has a tendency of relegating commercial banks. By the time people begins to adopt E-Naira, it means the money is no longer, there's going to be a reduction in deposit money.
Yes.
And when there is reduction in deposit money, it means commercial banks will no longer have cash. And when they no longer have cash, they won't be able to invest to get returns. And when they don't do that, it means what? They may go backwards. So that is the last fear.
It's scary.
Yeah, but the thing there is that if commercial banks that are sensible, that are sensitive, and knows what this means, should begin to look at other possibilities of engaging in full because it's going to bring forth innovations. That's one of the benefits now. Looking at the benefits now, it's going to bring forth high level of innovation. It's as though you are splitting commercial banks and you are splitting them into different segments. People begin to bring forth different innovations that would encourage E-Naira. E-commerce begin to come forth that we will now begin to sell to the outer world because as it stands now, most e-commerce platforms that we have in Nigeria are restricted to Nigeria, and because of that, the foreigners can't buy our products. But when you have e-commerce that runs on E-Naira, it now means that it's easier for you to do your conversion. It's easier for them to pay. It's easier for you to get your money, and it's going to flow well, and it's going to bring forth a whole lot of innovations. We're going to have different payment platforms. You decide which one you want to use to receive your money. You have different technological innovations that are going to be encouraged as a result of the adoption of this E-Naira. But beyond that, it's going to have a major impact on the economy.
Look, there's so much. It's like we're just scratching the surface.
Yes.
I don't know. Can we talk about this some other time, maybe next week? Because it's like we have just scratched the surface. There's so much implication.
Oh yes.
Yes. I would like you to be back here some other time and we can talk about this.
No problem.
Our listeners will be.
I am always available.
We're rounding up now, listeners. We'd like to say thanks for being with us. Thanks for coming, Mr. Aniel Jafaru.
Thank you.
Thanks to all you, our producers. I remain your host for this show. Please be with us next time.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending